Listen to the vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Vibes. And I am very, very happy to welcome the one and only Carmine Appice from the band Vanilla Fudge. Now, they have a 9 CD box set that came out about a month ago.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my copy. I saw a review on it on the internet. I said, "Wow, that looks great," And I don't know where they got 9 CDs from, but they have the stereo versions and mono versions. You don't have it, right? Do you?
No, I have the digital copy. I don't have the physical copy.
So I didn't even know. Well, good, send it to me because I didn't even know what they did. We know they did the deal, and we know that it just come out. It's a big yellow box, but we were supposed to get copies before it came out. We never did.
Well, before we get too much into it, tell us a little bit more about you. When did you get started playing drums?
I was young. My cousin had a drum set, and I used to go to his house like an Italian family does on holidays. And I jump on his drums, and I go home and banging the pots and pans. And over a period of time, my parents bought me like toy drum sets, and I used to break them. And then finally, we went to the very first Sam Ash store in Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, and we bought a drum set that was on the top shelf. It was a snare drum, a bass drum, and a cymbal. And I had that for years, and I started playing, and I took lessons. I got really good. And I started playing as a kid, playing gigs. First gig was $7.50. I got paid. I still have my mother made these books. Like when you went to school, you had these composition books. They had all that, like it looked like a leopard, black and white. Open it up, and there was the notebooks, and so she made those up. And every they go back to 1961, and it shows January I made the first gig $7.50, and in February I had 2 gigs, and I made $20, and I went on and on. I went to 1964 when I started making some money. I'd make $140, $150 a week, and then some gigs on the weekend I would work and make $200 on the weekend. When I got out of high school, I had a day job in Manhattan. I take the train every day, go in. It was $1.25 an hour was the minimum wage back then.
Right.
And I'd come out at the end of the week with $47 after taxes. After getting up in the morning, taking the train every day, take train every night, 5 days a week, and I work on the weekend and make $200. So I finally said to my father, I said, "Hey, Pop, what should I do? Should I work all week and make $47, or should I be a musician and play on the weekends and make $200? He said, "Well, I was obviously a musician." I said, "Good." So I quit the job, and then I just was a musician, and I did clubs all around New York. I played bands that had shows involved. I was the Zany Manhattans. We had skits that we did, and and I used to make good money. I started working 4 nights a week and making $250 a week. Back then that was big money. When I was a teenager, when I hit 17, I saved up $1,200, and I bought my own car, first brand new car, '64 Chevy Super Sport 327, 4-speed, silver with black interior. And then I made the payments. My parents co-signed for me, and I made the payments. And then I have guys in my neighborhood where their parents bought them a Corvette. And they said, "Well, yeah, but we got a Corvette." I said, "Yeah, but I bought my car. You didn't." I was proud of the fact that I bought it. And I bought it by playing. And I just continued playing.
And how did Vanilla Fudge get together?
Well, as I said, I played all these clubs around New York. And one day, Mark Stein and Tim Bogert came to this club. I was playing the Choo Choo Club where the Rascals started. And on a break, they said, "We heard about you. You sing, and you got a good right foot, and you're really soulful, and blah, blah, blah. So we have this band called the Pigeons, which we want to try and make it." Before that, I wasn't really into the fact that I want to make it. I just wanted to do like my drum teacher, make a living, make good money, a living. He had a house in Brooklyn, he had a Cadillac, a downstairs all finished basement with a drum room, all soundproof. For me, that was fine. That was making it, you know. And I said, no, we want to make it in the record business. We have a manager in Long Island that's going to pay us a salary of $100 a week, whether we work or not. And we need, missing piece we need is a drummer like you. We'd like you to come out and check it out. At first I said, I don't know, I said, I can't hurt. So it ended up being a life-changing decision in my life. Sometimes you do things that change your life. This changed my life. I went out there, I played with them. And Tim Bogert was an unbelievable bass player. I never really played with a great bass player. I played with a couple of guys that are okay, but mostly my bands had left-hand bass on a B3, So when I played with Tim, I said, wow, amazing, good singer. Mark Stein was an amazing B3 player, and his voice was just incredible. And the guitar player, Vinny, he had a great rhythm player and pretty good lead player, and he had a good voice. So when I played and we sang, I used to sing doo-wop in Brooklyn, when I was like 14 years old. And Mark Stein used to sing doo-wop as well in Jersey City or Bayonne, wherever he was. So we got along real good. We all had the same vibrato, from singing doo-wop. And I said, okay, let's do it. So I joined them, and the manager ended up being connected to the mafia. And he had this big club in Long Island. It used to draw 2,000 people. And the big band of the day was the Vagrants, which had Leslie West in it.
Oh,
and they used to draw 2,000 people to this place. And what they did was slow down versions of songs, which they called production numbers, right? So then all the bands in that era, there was us, there was Billy Joel had a band called the Hassles, and we were all doing the same stuff. And we were the first band out of it to make it with You Keep Me Hanging On. But we knew something was on with that song, because whenever we played that song live, people tried to dance, to Take It to Ride. And some of the songs we did were danceable. But when we did Keep Me Hanging On, it wasn't really danceable until the song started. Everybody used to come up to the stage and watch us play it. That's when we got this outrageous, I wanted to be Dino Danelli, twirling and all that stuff. So I was like him on steroids. I used to pound on the drums a lot more, which I didn't know. I was starting a new kind of drumming in rock. It was a heavy rock drumming. I didn't know I was starting it. I just did it because the amps were getting big and there were no PA systems. So I had to hit harder to be heard. Like Liberty DeVito from Billy's band saw me and he changed his whole style. I said, you changed my whole life, I just started playing hard like you. Again, I didn't know, Later on, years went by, people started calling me, that I created this new drum style that John Bonham listened to, and Ian Pace, and all these rock drummers. And I brought the gong into the thing. Then all of a sudden, gong was part of a drum set. You see, every drummer back in the 70s, the drum set, and they had a gong, So I just did the gong because Vanilla Fudge was like a symphonic band. I had some chimes hanging on the things that had different orchestral things on the drum set. Which later on, Neil Peart did with Rush, and Carl Palmer had two gongs, and but it was fun. It was all pioneering, brand new stuff back then. Everything, it wasn't about music business. It was about music, and it was great. I pioneered, and then I got an endorsement with Ludwig Drums after making it with Vanilla Fudge. I got this big drum kit that John Bonham wanted. I got it for him too, but I was a pioneer with Ludwig Drums, coming up with new things in the drumming world. I was the very first drummer, a rock drummer, to do a clinic.
Oh, wow.
Period. I was the first rock musician to do a clinic back in 1971. And I started doing that, and I would have done it before. Ludwig kept pounding me to do it in 68, 69 when I was with the Fudge. I was too much of a pop star there. And then I wrote my drum book, which became the biggest selling rock drum book in history. And they said, do clinics to promote the book. Like you go out and promote the records, with gigs, do clinics to promote your book. I said, okay. So I did it. The book, I remember my friend Joe Morello, who was a big idol of mine. The first year I sold over 3,000 copies. He said, oh my God, that's huge. I said, it is? I was used to selling, when Vanilla Fudge did the Ed Sullivan Show, the next day we sold 250,000 albums. I'm used to that, not 3,000 books over a year. But he said, it's huge, huge. Over now the book is at 450,000 copies or more. And still going. So I ended up doing clinics and basically that's how it all started,
And you're a songwriter, and I read that you played some fretless bass.
No, I play some bass. And when I was in high school, I majored in music, so I learned piano. I learned how to build chords and what they were and all that. And I had a good ear, and I could pick out chords and stuff, and and enough to write songs, enough to know what keys things are. Like we just did with my Rod show. We do "You Keep Me Hanging On" like Rod did it. Which that was Rod. He loved the way Hanging On did it with Vanilla Fudge. I said, well, let's do it with your voice. He said, I'm in the band. It's a good excuse to do it. So we did it, and it came out fantastic. So when I joined this Rod show that we're doing, I said, let's do "You Keep Me Hanging On" because people love it. So we did it. And so now with the orchestra, we did the demo, but I didn't have my keyboard player here. So I did my version of the keyboard part, just like, it's not good, but it shows the 8 bars that the organ should be, and in the middle it shows the 8 bars where the piano should be, and similar to what I play, but not really good. Now we're getting the keyboard player to put the part on, but it's enough to get the part by, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So same thing when I wrote the song. When I wrote "Sexy," I've been writing songs with Vanilla Fudge and Cactus and BBA. So when I started working with Rod, I really started learning more about songwriting. He was a great songwriter, So when he said, I want a song like "Missing You," so I went home on the keyboard and I came up with some chords on a drum machine like "Missing You." And then I went to my keyboard player friend, Dwayne Hitchings, who he wrote a bridge, so he got some songwriting as well. So gave it to Rod, he loved it, and we did it. It was like, wow. Biggest song you ever had. I said, wow, unbelievable. Then we wrote Young Turks, and I wrote it with Dwayne Hitchings, the same thing. And it's history now, So I've been writing, I get so many songs now. I got like 120, 140 songs on my ASCAP, which is Airplay. That was involved in it. Whether a band, and we split everything. And whenever we split stuff, everybody put their energy into it and came up with something for the song,
The record company wanted you to change the name from the Pigeons. Did they
Yes.
come up with Vanilla Fudge, or
No,
did y'all do?
this girl that we knew, she said, you guys are like White Soul, Vanilla Fudge.
Okay.
Easy.
Now, what brought on this project
Which one?
for
Vanilla Fudge?
the 9 CD box set?
Oh, I don't even know. That label, Atlantic sold I don't know if that label Cherry Red in England. We had a box set called Box of Fudge a few years ago that Rhino put out.
Right.
This other package, I remember my manager said this label Cherry Lane wants to put out a box set with Vanilla Fudge in the UK. What do you think? I said, fine. We didn't know what they were doing. I didn't know what they were doing, until I saw that review online. I saw that review. I said, oh, wow, 9 CDs? How'd they do 9 CDs? And then the guy was explaining, well, there's a mono and a stereo version of 4 albums, and there's this extra thing here. And I said, oh, I'd like to hear it. We were supposed to get copies, but we never did. That's the way the business is now. You got, this didn't come out in America. It came out over there in England. Cherry Lane, they did a box set of Cactus too. I never got one of those either. They did, I think they did King Cobra over there too. But I've been blessed. I had so many bands.
Like
Some guys,
Well, go ahead.
playing one band their whole life.
Right.
You know, and that's, to me, that's so boring. I was able to pioneer all those different things. You know, I even had a show like Stomp, a slam show. It's called. We used buckets and 55-gallon oil drums. I made of plastic, and we had the bass drums on a ladder, and we had makeup. It was day glow makeup and black lights and glowing drumsticks, and we did songs like "You Keep Me Hanging On." We had a guitar player and 5 drummers, and we played theaters. And I went to China, and that was something else. We did theaters and all that, and then I did a Rod show back in 15 years ago when the tributes weren't in. It was called the Rod Experience. I had guys that played with Rod in the band. And so I was able to do that. I did Cactus, I did Blue Murder, I did King Cobra, I played with Ozzy, Ted Nugent. It was all different stuff. But I really never had to change my style much. You know, I've changed it a little bit with Rod. I was a little easier, you know, a little simpler. I still had the ability to do the fills I wanted to do them and drum solos, and every band I was in had a drum solo.
Does Vanilla Fudge have any plans of putting together another album?
Nah, not really, because nobody hears it. Nobody plays it. Nobody buys it.
There's still
Everybody,
some of us that love it.
not just Vanilla Fudge.
Yeah.
Everybody. You know, Rod Stewart puts out an album, it doesn't sell like it used to sell. The Who, Rolling Stones, you never hear about it. They put out an album, you never hear about it. One song maybe, and it's gone in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, even I went to see Rod, and he had an album 2 years ago out, and he had a new single, it did 1 million views on YouTube. If anybody else, 1 million views would have been a hit song. Right? We said to the audience, I have the new song, blah, 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 whatever it's called, but instead of that one, I'll do one of the old songs. What do you want to do? New song? Nah. Old song? Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't even care about the new songs, you know? Like you said, the attention span.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's sad because some of my favorite bands will come out with an album and I might run across it by accident because you just, like you said, you don't hear about it. And then with streaming services, I mean, it's got to make it a lot harder if you're not out playing
It's ridiculous. I mean,
gigs.
you got everybody and their brother is on the streaming services.
Right.
And you can't, you know, to get signed today as a new band, you got to have like 500,000 YouTube views or 500,000 Spotify download. You know how much a band makes in Spotify?
Hardly anything.
0.003. You download a song, you not even make a penny. So it takes 300 downloads to make a penny. Now think about how many downloads it is to make any money. 300 million downloads, you might make $3,000. You know, something stupid like that. So I don't even use Spotify. People say, "Oh, put this down on Spotify." I said, "I don't do Spotify. They're ripping us off. I don't do it." You know?
Well, I see that records are trying to make a sort of a comeback, but they've made them so expensive.
Yeah, but they're not
hard.
like, it's hard, but they don't sell like they used to sell. I mean, with Rod Stewart, we sell 5 million vinyls. You know, now if he releases a vinyl, you might sell 50,000. Big difference.
Mm-hmm.
And the 5 million, it wasn't cheap. It was $10. You know, and you get paid on that. You release an album, you get $1 a record. You sell 5 million records, it's $5 million. You get writing, it's another $1. It's then $10 million when you sell a lot. Now forget about it. Like these new bands, that's why a lot of new bands today, you never hear of them until they're in their 30s. You know why? Because they're out touring. They're out touring. And now bands come down here to Florida. I have a friend of mine, his kids, they say, "Well, you want to go see so-and-so?" I go, "I never heard of him." Because they were never on radio other than maybe Sirius, you know. And then there's so many different channels on Sirius, and it goes all over the world. So how many people in this town actually listen to the radio and happen to hear these guys on the radio that they go out and buy the record. You know what I'm saying? So the way they do it, they tour. They play little clubs, little bigger clubs, and then bigger clubs, until eventually a theater and then another theater. And 15 years later, they made it big. I mean, I think that's how it works today. It used to be, people would ask me, how do you make it? How do you make it in the business? There used to be a formula back in the day, 20 years ago. Now I don't have a clue how people make it.
Well,
but I like it. Like I went to see, what was it? Hold on. I got my phone. I can't remember them. They're famous. You know them. We all know them. I saw them with a group called Shinedown.
Yeah.
Right. And my friend's raving to me about Shinedown. So I listened to Shinedown. And I said, I don't think they're very good. For me, I'd rather listen to, hold on, I'm looking it up, Papa Roach. I went to see Papa Roach. I said, wow, they were awesome. And I never really heard of them. I heard their name, but I never heard them on the radio, nothing. Because there's no radio anymore. Yeah. It's classic rock. And now classic rock is Motley Crue.
Yeah. Well, I always said you can always tell when you're getting older because you hear the bands you listened to in high school in the grocery store.
I got a better one. My manager said, you're getting old when the cops look young. How about that, right? And they were involved in the people in the movie Goodfellas.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Hill used to come to my house. This stuff is in my book. It says, hey, come on, I got this stuff. It just fell off a truck. It opens up his trunk. He got all these things, fur coats and tape recorders and little TVs and just all kinds of goodies. And I bought 2 Revox tape machines off him. I said, what about a warranty? You got a warranty? He said, yeah, I guarantee if it breaks, I'll give you another one.
So how can people get a hold of your book?
You can buy it on my website, my CarmineMerch.com or Amazon. It was in all the bookstores when it first came out. It's been out since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
When it came out, I did all the usual stuff, all the book stuff that you do, book signings and books and Barnes and Noble and all that stuff. I did all that, but it pissed me off when it did come out because it was originally going to be on VH1 Books. I signed a deal with VH1. And that's what Nicky Sixx signed. He sold 1 million units. He gave me the same writer and a good advance. When it came out, it was going to be on a major book company. So I would have done, and my goal was to be on the New York Times bestseller somewhere. And as we finished the book, handed it into them, they went out of business. VH1 said, we're not going to do books no more.
Oh, man.
Yeah, wonderful. Now I got a finished book with the writer that owns 25% of the book, and we got no book deal. So he said, well, I got a company in Chicago, we could put it out. So we did it on Chicago. We got a smaller advance, but they're not a major company. It's like an independent record deal and a major, it's the same thing. But we did okay. And then everyone said, I read online that there's so many books that released. If you sell over 500 units of a book or 1,000, you're doing great. So I sold about 11,000 books. And I never did a audio book. Maybe somewhere along the line, I'll get somebody to do this. I can't read it. I'm not a great reader. But, it did good. People loved the book. The people that read it love it because it's no holes. That's just everything. I don't hold anything back in it. It opens up the book with me getting fired from Ozzy with Sharon.
Mr. Appice, thank you so much for coming on my show, man. This has really been an honor.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the praise, whatever it is. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And I'm going to put some of those links in the description just so people can buy the album and buy your book and follow you along, man. But
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the merch thing that I have done artwork and everything. I've done a lot of stuff. So all of it's on there. The instrumental albums I did in the last couple of years are great. There's a video called Drum City.
Mm-hmm.
You should look it up. It's on YouTube. I never really got the push. I tried to get on the Grammys for nomination for instrumental rock. They put me in a rock category with the Foo Fighters, and there's no vocals.
Yeah.
And this year too, the blues album I did broke in the charts at #3 on Billboard. It was on the top 5 for I don't know how long on Amazon. It was the blues. And they put me in a rock category, not the blues category. We're Foghat and Slash are in the blues category, but I'm not. So I think somebody up there doesn't like me. But they're all great records, great records. And I did them in my studio, so they're all on my CarmineMerch.com, and it's a lot of fun. I'm still doing it, and I'm having a good time. And people go, how long are you going to play? I'm going to play till I can't play no more, and which is, when you get older, I'm going to be 78, and I can feel the difference in my muscles playing. And I go do some certain things, and I can't do it anymore. It's not the fact that, like I could do it 20 years ago. I look at me playing with Jeff Beck and Bogert, BBA. I was singing and playing like my ass off. And we got a box set that came out last year, almost a year ago. It's called Beck, Bogert, and Police Live, 50th anniversary. And there's 7 new songs. I sang most of them. And the band is on fire. I mean, my playing, Jeff's playing, and Tim's playing, we're just on fire. We were all in our 20s. I was like 26, Jeff was 28, Tim was 27, and we were just killing it. I mean, that came out on Rhino.
Mm-hmm.
Most people haven't even heard of it. And Jeff Beck at the end of his life was huge. When we played together, he was equal bill with us. And we got a big advance from Rhino, so we would think that it would recoup, that they would, know what they were doing to recoup it. And Jeff died just as we were finishing it, so that's how weird the business is today,
Well, I hope you get to play for many, many years, because I love the
Me
music.
too.
And you guys just, there's something about your music that it inspires, at least for people like me and my generation. We love the music. And
how old are you?
I'm 54.
Oh, that's about the right age. It's funny. I went into Costco the other day, to get some fixed. I was hearing aids. I wear hearing aids because all these years of rock and roll, and the top end goes away. I have to go there after this because one of them is not working. But the girl that was behind the counter, I go there every couple of months and they clean it. She looks up at my name. She's young, like 24 years old. She goes, Carmine Appice from the Vanilla Fudge? I said, yeah. She goes, oh my God, that's my favorite band. I said, no kidding, at your age? She goes, yeah, I love that band. I was blown away, I was 24 years old, and she knew about Vanilla Fudge, and she loved it, loved the songs and all that. Wow. I'm going back there today.
Oh, guys like me, we grew up listening to Vanilla Fudge and Ted Nugent, and all the bands we'd been talking about. And
that's great. Even Vanilla Fudge, it should have been the Rock Hall of Fame many years ago when it was about influence. Now, we influenced everybody. Cactus influenced so many bands too, including Van Halen and AC/DC and King's X and many more. Ronnie Dio, many more. Had nothing. They should change the name of that to Music Hall of Fame. They bring in Dolly Parton and rappers. The one that got me that they brought in was the Go-Go's. What did the Go-Go's have to have any influence on what? Come on.
On girls going to the mall.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So anyway, luckily I don't care about all that stuff. I had a good life, a great life. I had a great career, and I'm still playing and still innovating stuff, and that's it. That's what it's about.
Exactly. Well, again, thank you, brother. And also,
thank you, man.
I also want to thank all you folks out there. If you are new to the channel, I hope you'll come back. Please hit that subscribe button. For my regulars, you guys are awesome because you make it possible for me to do this. Till the next
Yep.
one, everyone,
See you.
please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and
God bless.
peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network